Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today for our November Power Lunch series titled Living Local in North Carolina's Capital. And when we were first pulling this series together with the newness of being living life in a different way, we wanted to think about, okay, if things are a little bit different come fall, what could we highlight? And I think November is an excellent time to highlight gratitude and really thinking about what's in our backyard, what things that are surrounding us that we can be grateful for, and knowing that back when I was building this out, we didn't know, would we be able to travel, what things would be we'd be able to do. We didn't know a lot back then, and so I think it's even more timely than I thought when I first built this out in like May. So with that, I want to start today with three elements of gratitude. Number one is gratitude for our veterans. It is Veterans Day today. And so if you were connected in any way to military service, I want you all just to give me a reaction, give me a heart in the reactions there. If you have a loved one, if you yourself are a veteran, yeah. So we've got a lot of hearts in there. Absolutely right. Look at that. That is so touching. Look at all those hearts on the screen, y'all. That's amazing. Well, again, a moment of gratitude for our veterans for doing what they can to protect this nation, protect us so we can lead the lives that we like to, and take care of ourselves in that way. And if you are a veteran specifically, I want to say my deepest gratitude to you. The second piece of gratitude that I'd like to give is a gratitude for our health and our well being. We are now several months into this pandemic life. I don't even know, what is it, 8, 9? Yeah. So we thought before, okay, we got it for 8 weeks. We're going to be around doing this like for 12 weeks, and it's gone beyond that. So to be in good health and to be in safe, secure environment, I think we all should take a moment to show some appreciation for that. And then the last thing that I want to give some gratitude is for you all being part of the Wolfpack Wellness Power Lunch series. And so I'll save a quick announcement for the end, but I'm going to share my last little bit of gratitude by turning it over to our guest speakers for the day, who I am so excited to hear from, mainly because I am a colleague with one of our presenters today. So what I will go ahead and do is introduce, we've got two guest speakers today, so y'all are getting like all of the goods for November. And so today we've got Nathan Williams, who is the Assistant Director of Outdoor Adventures with Wellness and Recreation. So we work together. And then along with his partner, Brit Guerin, I hope I said that right, Brit, they are the founders and owners of Current Wellness, which is in downtown Raleigh. So I'll link you all to that at the end. But this is a new destination for fitness, wellness, food education, by really blending their passions and their backgrounds into a business that is all their own. They've spent countless hours exploring Raleigh's destinations by foot, by bike, by car, by canoe, which, I mean, shout out to them because that is some dedication there. They love being outdoors. And along the way, they've really discovered some gems that they're going to share with you all today that are right in their backyards. And so Britt is a clinical mental health clinician. So she's got this background in mental health well-being, and Nathan has a PhD in educational leadership, policy, and human development. So they both bring a lot of rich knowledge to this talk. So I'm so excited to hear from them. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Britt, to Nathan, to give us this wonderful conversation on living local in North Carolina's capital.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much, Alexis. And thanks to all of you for being here. I do a decent amount of public speaking, but I'm probably the most anxious about this presentation, only because, like, I definitely don't want me and Britt to pose ourselves as experts on Raleigh or knowing more about Raleigh than anybody else, or get into a shooting contest over who knows the most about Raleigh. So we're going to approach this a little differently. So we are going to go over some destinations that we think are great and places to be active and involved. But also we're going to skip some obvious stuff. So don't be shocked when we don't mention the North Carolina Museum of Art, or the flea market on Saturdays and Sundays at the fairgrounds, or other stuff that you would tell a tourist in town. What we're going to try to do, what we're going to shoot for, is even if you've been in Raleigh for 20 or 30 years or your whole lifetime, we're going to try to show you some new and recent parts that maybe you haven't visited. Also, with COVID and the pandemic, I think we've been really grateful on that spirit of gratitude that there's been a lot of pivoting by businesses to move online and outdoors and do new and exciting things. And so we're really going to try to highlight some of those. And then along the way, we'll mention some of what this has to do with wellness. Obviously, it is that power lunch for wellness. But I think Brit and I think of wellness a little differently, maybe than even my employer, Wellness and Recreation, does. So we won't try to rub anybody the wrong way, since I see my boss is on the call today. But yeah, we want to add our own twist to wellness and to Raleigh. And with that in mind, definitely throw down a lot of chat recommendations. You'll see some things that you probably love. You'll see some restaurants that are probably your favorites, that you have a favorite dish. We would love it if you would include that in there. So with that, I'm going to share my screen here, provided that I can find the right window and Alexis has given me the right credentials. Let's see. Thanks for your patience, y'all. All right. Well, I'm getting that shared. Britt is going to share just a little bit about us personally, because while we aren't from Raleigh, I think we do have a little bit of Raleigh cred going on. So she's going to share that.
Yeah. So, as Nathan mentioned, neither of us are from Raleigh. Nathan grew up outside of Chicago. I grew up in central Pennsylvania. But as Alexis mentioned, Nathan currently works at NC State. And that's how we met. So, I worked at NC State as well back when it was the recreation center, when it wasn't wellness and recreation, but it changed. And I oversaw the group fitness program. So, that's how Nathan and I met. We were coworkers on campus. And yeah, so why would I ever trust a couple of Yankees to tell me where to go in Raleigh? So we're going to try to give you a little bit of cred. Also, disclaimer, we do wear helmets when we bike around. This was for a photo shoot, and we were going like a few feet. So we definitely support and wear helmets. But yeah, so we both worked at NC State/work. We both graduated from NC State. So Nathan recently finished his PhD in higher education. Yeah, claps, claps. And last year I finished my master's in clinical mental health at NC State. So we're both alum, which is exciting. We bought a house in Southeast Raleigh. We absolutely love this neighborhood. And also, we're starting a business, as Alexis mentioned, a wellness center that we will talk about near the end.
All right, so here's the format. And also just a heads up in advance, this presentation is highly visual, but we are gonna try to describe the images and the places for those of you who do need it, and definitely feel free to add to the chat if we do need to describe things. But we're gonna do it, yeah, a little bit of tour operator style. So this is actually our home studio in addition to our living room. So we do have these wireless mics, so you can pretend that we're your like tour bus operators riding around Raleigh. And along the way, we're going to talk about wellness. So for us, wellness definitely isn't just moving your body. It isn't just getting on a treadmill, although that might be part of it. For us, we really boil down to three things: mind, body, and community. So we're going to be hitting on stuff that definitely you can walk to and be active in that way, but also things that I think will make you feel good, like make us feel good when we visit places in Raleigh, and that are good for our mind and our hearts and our souls. And then also, even though we're in pandemic times, we definitely have places that we like to go where we do connect with people in a socially distanced way. Oh, excuse me. So we'll hit up on those elements of wellness along our tour bus.
Hmm.
So first off, we love NC State. I love working in NC State. So I'm just going to hit up a couple of things to make sure that y'all are aware of. Some of you might know about all of these, but maybe just some updates. So we're going to hit up Lake Raleigh Woods, and then we'll circle over to the Edible Garden on the Greenway, and then we'll end with the Wellness and Recreation Center, our new Wellness and Recreation Center.
Which I just want to interject. Nathan is certainly like an expert in my mind on Raleigh because I didn't even know there was an edible garden. I didn't even know a lot of the things he came up with. So kudos to him for teaching us all these things.
Thanks. So I'm guessing all of y'all know the Greenway on Lake Raleigh and where you see the dock with people fishing. But just to make sure everybody knows, I know that there's probably half of you who have explored the trails in the back of Lake Raleigh Woods. But one thing that we're doing at Wellness and Recreation is really improving those trails and making them more accessible, and have been undergoing a new trail design. So this trailhead kiosk was installed last year, and there's one at the Alumni Center, and there's also one at the middle school parking lot. So if you've been to Lake Raleigh Woods in the backside of Lake Raleigh, and you've thought, man, I'm going to get lost, there's all these side trails, I can't figure out where to go, we've tried to simplify the trail system to show on the map where you can go to not get lost. So that's definitely a destination. And also we are actively working on implementing a new trail design while keeping the character of the woods. So stay tuned for that and for updates on service days and other chances to get involved. So speaking of gratitude, I am so grateful to the grounds crew. If you work in grounds, shout out to you, Sarah Ketchum, all the people over there who are just so amazing. And some of you probably know that a couple of years ago, they installed an edible garden on the Greenway. So actually just behind Carmichael, you can browse through it. You can go. Recently, I picked a bunch of ripe figs for my coworkers. And a couple of months before that, picked some muscadine grapes off the fence. They have muscadines. And then later on in the late spring, early summer, there'll be wild strawberries. So please visit the Edible Garden on the Greenway. It is so cool and a resource. Also, just to make sure y'all know, the creek that runs along the Greenway might seem like an urban stream without much going on, but definitely like I check that out on a regular basis, and just this morning there were fish active in it, and it's a lot healthier than I think we would give it credit for. So a really cool place to reflect and be grateful for the place we work. And then the last on-campus destination, I would, probably get fired if I didn't mention that we did open the new Wellness and Recreation Center a few weeks ago. In our outdoor area of things, we do have a brand new climbing wall, but as you'll see from the other pictures here and on our website, lots more fitness space, an indoor-outdoor work area on our rooftop, things that really are setting an innovative new standard in campus recreation and wellness across universities. So definitely, if you haven't been in a while, come by. I'll give you a tour. My supervision shift is Tuesday mornings from 5:30 to 9. So if you want to stop by and see me, I've got plenty of time. But anybody there will be happy to give you a tour of the new building if you'd like to reactivate your membership or explore that. All right, so just a few on-campus things, since I know we're all on campus, or at least used to be before COVID. I see a few office pictures there in the gallery, so I know some of us are on campus.
There's stuff going on in the chat.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring up the chat, and Alexis, if there is anything that the crew wants to weigh in on, feel free to call it out.
Yeah, so as I'm looking through the chat, we've got a lot of folks who are interested in Lake Raleigh or are fans of
Yeah.
Lake Raleigh. But we had a question that Jeannie asked, and Mary chimed right in and was able to answer that question for her about how or where do we start at Lake Raleigh Wood. So they've got that taken care of. And then we've also
Cool.
got that it's great for kayaking. Is the edible
Yeah.
garden opening to for picking by pedestrians? So yeah, a lot of great engagement in the chat there.
Awesome, awesome. And yeah, for mileage, right now, if you did all of the trails there, it's roughly 3.5 miles, Kimberly. So just a heads up there. All right, so feel free to keep on-campus stuff going, and if y'all have favorite spots on campus that you go to be active and to be grateful for the place in which we work and live, definitely keep those coming. But so Britt mentioned that we live and own a house in Southeast Raleigh. It's actually starred on here because it's in my Google Maps. That's kind of creepy, right? That we're getting trailed by Google Maps. But when people think of Raleigh, I definitely talk to friends who live outside of Central Raleigh, and they really think of like Fayetteville Street. They think of festivals and food trucks on Fayetteville Street, or they might think of a lot of our students pouring out of the bars on Glenwood South and worrying about COVID transmission. But we really want you to think about downtown beyond Fayetteville Street and Glenwood South. And it's becoming so amazingly walkable and bikeable and just such a cool place to go and be active and explore. So with that, we're going to encourage you to think about 2 corridors to plan your next adventure. So rather than thinking about the center where the Capitol is or other parts of downtown, I'm going to encourage you to check out West Street on the west side of downtown and East Street on the east side of downtown. And yeah, definitely Moore Square Park along the way on the east side. The renovation is amazing. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to explore each of these corridors. Britt's going to take our tour bus up West Street from the south to the north. And then I'm going to take us up East Street, also from the south to the north. And along the way, if we do need to make any stops, feel free to just like pull the cord to your top right and we'll stop the bus to point out things on the way. But yeah, first off, let's start off on West Street because a lot has been happening there over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I see some stuff in the chat box. Yeah. Yes, Clouds Brewery, outdoor seating. Yeah, so a lot of the places we're going to mention or highlight, it's not exhaustive by any means, but they are currently open and they do have outdoor spacing, which is really, really nice. So these are the spots I'm going to talk about, starting on the south part with the north-south Greenway connector. So if you're not already familiar, the city has been doing a really tremendous job in increasing the bikeability of the city. So this is actually the first bike protected lane that's separated from traffic, which is just awesome. If y'all bike, that's huge, that you just feel a lot safer and you feel like, you're meant to be there. And also it just increases the walkability. So pedestrians have, the space to be on the sidewalk and the bikers got their own space. So this is really, really great. Also, if you don't have a bike, you can rent a bike from Citrix Cycle. So you see in the bottom corner, and you can pay as you go. You can have a monthly membership. You can have an annual membership. And so they've got an app where you can check out where their stations are, where there are bikes available. And also, thinking back to campus, you can also rent a bike at Wellness and Recreation, which is specifically underneath Nathan's department in outdoor adventures. So that's great. Lots of biking options. Next, I want to chat about Union Station and the Dillon. So this is a really great picture by Leo Suarez, who he runs a blog of DT Raleigh, downtown Raleigh. And so he's a great resource for new happenings in our city. And this picture was taken from the terrace of Union Station, which I just recently found out about. We host a yoga class at Union Station on Sunday mornings. And I found out about the terrace that way. It's this hidden gem at the top of Union Station. Yes, Anna.
Anna's on
Hi,
there. Awesome.
Anna. You've been there. And yeah, it's an outdoor. It's open space. It's open to the public, so Union Station's currently open, so you can walk up there, get this nice view of the skyline, and you can rent it as well for private events. I just found out about that as well. But what we love about Union Station, after our classes, there's usually an announcer coming on and talking about where the trains are going, and it just makes us excited about taking a trip to DC or Charlotte, which we haven't done yet, but maybe one day we'll hop on the train. So yeah, this picture over. You can go back.
Oh, sorry.
It overlooks the plaza. So you might have seen Downtown Raleigh Alliance posting about their co-working event. So they did an outdoor co-working event. They'll bring it back next year. And it was really spread out, but also you can reserve a space to work outside. And they had Wi-Fi and all of that. So that's a fun event to think about for next year, especially in COVID territory, because you can work outside and it's nice and open. But also across this street is the Dillon. So this was a renovated space. It used to be Dillon Supply, which was like industrial supplies, steel, all that good stuff, but was converted into this multi-use space of commercial spaces, but also residential. So there's apartments, and then on the bottom, lots of restaurants. I think Anna mentioned Heirloom. We love that coffee shop. After yoga, we hit it up for some coffee and biscuits, which are delish. So it's really fun to support that small business in that way. Next is Morgan Street Food Hall and Weaver Street Market. Yep, and Father and Sons is also across from, on the other side of Union Station. Love it. So Morgan Street Food Hall opened a couple years ago. If you haven't been, highly recommend it because you can bring friends and family, and you don't have to decide on a type of cuisine because they've got so many different options. But also you can see the outdoor space, and they have heaters as well, which is great as it gets colder. And Weaver Street Market is another one of our favorites. It's a co-op that was its original location was in Carborough, but they opened up a location here in the warehouse district just last year, I believe.
Yeah, I think early last
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
So they're a great spot. You can order groceries online and just pick them up if you feel more safe that way. And they've got lots of great local products as well. And then lastly, on the West Street corridor, 5 Star. They are an Asian restaurant which was relocated. So they had a location a little bit more south on the map, and moved over to this location. As you can see in this picture, they just unveiled this really awesome mural. I think one of my favorite outcomes or consequences, I suppose, of COVID is all of the art in downtown. I've seen so many murals and things happening as things had to shift. So it's very vibrant and bright downtown. So definitely recommend checking out that mural. If you keep heading up West Street, you can check out Cardinal. There's a Pilates studio, Flowcore. So lots of great things to keep checking out up that way as you go north.
Yeah. And just to add real quick there, some of you, probably are aware of the Smoky Hollow development, and eventually the rendering at that bottom left picture is what the area will look like as they fill out the outdoor dining and spaces in between buildings. So this is kind of like right where the new Publix is downtown, if you're familiar with that. But also, if you're not aware, just on the north side of Peace Street from there is going to be hopefully our next urban park. So Devereaux Meadows, where the old baseball stadium used to be, is hopefully going to be our next urban park, and the North-South Greenway connector will go right through there. So really cool part of the city to see transformation happen and come along. All right. So let's switch to East Street. So on the other side of downtown, we're going to go over a few destinations, including our own. And yeah, and also some of y'all mentioned the Oakwood Cemetery, which would be on the north side of East Street. Um, oh yeah, Smoky Hollow. Did I say Sleepy Hollow? Thank you, Kimberly. Good catch. So we're going to go over a few destinations that are our favorites, and yeah, ways for uh, eating outside, just walking by, checking out spots, already seeing transfer shout outs. So I love to see that. Um, so yeah, so Transfer Food Hall, while I love Morgan Street Food Hall, Transfer Food Hall has fewer vendors and more open space, and this awesome patio with a tremendous view of the skyline. So there's 9 vendors in there, in addition to a co-working hall and a ballroom, and so it's a great spot even if you're not super hungry to go and enjoy the patio. And then also for COVID, they have opened their indoor space and removed half the tables. And they have this really great system of tracking which tables have been used and flipping those over. And all the vendors do takeout and some form of DoorDash or other online delivery as well. I do have to highlight local seafood. Occasionally I shuck oysters for them inside transfer. And if you need some awesome fresh oysters, definitely come check out local seafood at Transfer Food Hall. But across the street is probably a spot where you haven't been, or maybe some of you have, but a couple of friends and neighbors of ours, Lindsay and Craig, own Crude Bitters there, and it is North Carolina's first bitters company. It's their claim to fame. So if you haven't had bitters before, they're additives for cocktails or mocktails. But Craig and Lindsay have both been doing these really fun videos throughout the pandemic. And so if you do want to make just a fun mocktail, we've all been getting more, and a lot of us have been getting more into cooking and drinks. Really fun to check out their Instagram. And also you can go in their shop and browse, and they have party supplies like cocktail, tiki umbrella kind of things, in addition to their bitters that they make right in that pink building across the street from Transfer Food Hall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Talk about the drink mixes that Elizabeth is mentioning.
Oh, I was looking at Claudia.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh yeah. So Claudia, we're gonna dig it up here, but Downtown Raleigh Alliance does have a really good list of outdoor patio seating options.
Yeah.
And I think Alexis is already Googling if I'm guessing her image right now. And yeah, thank you to Elizabeth for pointing out Crude Bitters has been doing drink mixes as well. So we had, I think, like a watermelon mojito mix maybe. And again, you can put alcohol in it, or it's just as good with San Pellegrino or other sparkling water. So definitely an option there if alcohol isn't your thing. All right, so we hit up Transfer, we hit up Crude, and yeah, Transfer also has a butchery shop, Alimentari, where you can get meats and also to-go things.
Y'all are on it.
I know, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. People have been exploring. And we didn't explicitly mention this, but we picked these routes because they are walkable, because they are bikeable. So certainly you can get there in a car, but we're hoping that some of you would just take a stroll up East or West Street. And so we're going to skip up a little further north. And so it's not on our map here, but one of my favorite outdoor destinations pre-COVID or in COVID times has been Gringo A Go-Go. Definitely let me know, the folks of you who have been there. I think it's one of the better Mexican restaurants in Raleigh, but also since Gringo entered being open during the pandemic, they've created these really neat little cabana pop-up tent things. And this picture probably doesn't do it justice, because usually the plants are lush brush, and they have these like Christmas lights, even not during the holidays. And so it takes on this really fun Austin style Tex-Mex feel to it, and also one where you can get together and be in your own kind of semi-private space. And their staff there is just super friendly and welcoming, and their food's super great. And yes, awesome vegan vegetarian options. So we work, one of our marketing folks, Judy, says they have the best vegan beef or steak or chorizo. They have like all of these different vegan options, not just one like TVP vegan thing or something.
Yeah.
Also in the background of this picture, if you squint really hard at the building across the street, for those of you who don't know, and hopefully this won't be too sad, but Oakwood Cafe did close their doors this summer during the pandemic. So sadly, their Argentinian food and Cuban sandwiches went away. But awesomely, Longleaf Swine Barbecue, a whole hog barbecue operation based in Raleigh, will be opening there. So they've gutted out. It's actually a really beautiful building. No offense to Oakwood Cafe, but they covered up these awesome windows that are in there. It's a much brighter space than you would have been able to tell going into Oakwood Cafe. And so hopefully in the next few months, Longleaf Swine will be open there. So a couple of really cool options. And yeah, and just to sort of highlight it, if you did want to make it a walk, if you look on the map to the left, you could take the Greenway Green Line up through Winters Park and then keep going up East Street. And if you hang a right a little bit, then you'll end up at Oakwood Cemetery. So for sense of orientation, that's the part of Raleigh we're talking about. So lastly on our tour, we're actually going to skip back a block south and let you know a little bit about our space. So certainly we don't want to make this talk all about us, but it is a wellness power lunch. So, and on our corridor. So Current Wellness is opening in person at 219 Southeast Street a little later this month, early December. And we offer fitness and yoga, cooking classes, nutrition and chiropractic care, and a slew of other things. So thinking about living like a local, I don't know that there's anything more local than to lease a commercial building and then go through the process of renovating it. So me and Brit did all the interior demolition of this building ourselves. It's definitely a local general contractor and architect that have been working on this project. And yeah, Brit's going to say a little bit about the programming that we do or will do in the future.
Yeah. So as Nathan kind of
speaking of more square,
right? Yeah, this is more square. It's gorgeous. But yeah, speaking of what Nathan was mentioning earlier, we really believe that wellness is just as much about moving your body and nourishing your body as it is getting out in the community, supporting local, and yeah, being in community. So hopefully you're kind of getting a sense of that as we highlight lots of food and drink options. But it looks like y'all are digging it because you've got lots of options as well in the chat box. So yeah, this is what you're looking at is a picture of our tidal movement class. This is one of our signature fitness classes. The participants are holding what's called a Viper. It is a weighted tube with handles, essentially. It's very sophisticated. But yeah, it's all about functional movement. So moving in our bodies in ways that kind of mimic everyday life. So rather than isolating our biceps, we're kind of twisting and reaching and pushing and pulling. So it's a very integrated mindfulness type of movement practice. And in addition to tidal movement, we also offer yoga and dance classes as well. That's kind of our movement studio programming. We also offer specialty workshops that range from mental health to nutrition to cooking, as you see in this picture. Again, pre-COVID. I feel like we always need a disclaimer. But yeah, this was last year. This was in Transfer Co-Food Hall in the, what's this called? Mezzanine or not mezzanine?
The pit or
The pit.
The bay,
The
something
bay,
like
the
that.
bay,
Yeah.
the lift bay.
Lift bay.
That's right. So this is down in the Lift Bay, and this was our healthy and local seafood cooking class. And so Nathan partnered with a dietitian, Catherine Andrew, and the chef of local seafood. So Eric, he's super awesome. And they learned how to cook a whole fish. They learned how to make ceviche, and yeah, it was just a really good time to learn about seafood. Um, and then, yeah, so that's kind of like our programming offerings. And this is our team. So this is our team of fitness, yoga, and dance instructors. And they all really live and breathe our mission of activating inclusive wellness for mind, body, and community. And so they do a phenomenal job of using language that's very empowering and inclusive so that if they're doing their job right, which they do, like I said, a great job, you will never leave a class and think like, I can't do that. My body can't do that, because there's tons of modifications and options for you to make the class work for your body, because the reality of it is all of our bodies are different and can do different things, and every day is different. Sometimes I want to go 100%, sometimes I've got 25%, and that's just fine. I'm still moving. So yeah, this is our team of teachers. But in addition to this, we also have a team of practitioners, and this picture is our contractors, so we hire them as employees. But we also have a crew of folks who have their own small business, but want to be in community in a network of wellness practitioners. So they're actually renting space from us and operating their small business within our framework, within our mission, vision, values. And so, yeah, currently we have a chiropractor, a physical therapist, massage therapist, an art therapist, a music therapist, a dietitian, myself. I see clients for mental health. And so, yeah, we really are excited about the collaboration among practitioners to be an integrated approach to wellness.
Yeah. And I think that's all by way of highlighting that, for us, living like a local is walking and going to get food and biking around and that kind of thing. But also, I think thinking about that community wellness piece of things, to us, living like a local, right, is supporting local business. So one thing we've tried to do with this presentation is not just highlight those things that you can walk to, but those things that will really feed into the community here in Raleigh and the Piedmont area of North Carolina. So with that, we only scratched the surface. We told you we would just give you a little bit. And so we are going to give you our Instagram handles, and then we can chat our email addresses if that would be helpful. But just a couple of things as we're taking questions or suggestions for places. Definitely, we hear about things through a few different venues. So if you are looking for like tips on events and restaurant openings and stuff, I would really encourage you to check out Raleigh Today if you're not on that email list. RAL Today is the name of that. You can Google it. Also, Raleigh Convergence is a newer media company, daily email that has a lot of good local stuff in it. And then lastly, Brit turned me on to one that I'm guessing a number of you subscribe to, which is Raleigh Over Easy, run by a local, Ashton May. And it's a lot of really cool stuff that is going to be happening, and sometimes delivered with a little bit of a funny tone, a little bit of a sarcastic tone, which is fun. So we'll open it up for questions, and then I think the last live like a local thing is if you haven't had that chicken and waffle on a skewer thing from, I think it's the Chicken Q truck that does that. That will change your life. And so, yeah, whether or not it's at the state fair or if you see the Chicken Q truck and they're serving it, do that. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah, do y'all have any questions or suggestions that we left out? Oh, yeah, the night market. and offline, of course, Raleigh offline. So Catherine's highlighting uh, offline RDU. Uh, I forget the official name, but it's a
Off,
member-based service
yeah.
where you pay a small monthly subscription, and then they give you these like promo teasers once a month. So Brit is a member, so this month we have like $25 to spend at a local restaurant and a $15 gift card to a local fitness place. So that's Raleigh Offline, which is definitely helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the night market. I didn't realize that they were having their holiday bazaar. Do you want to mention the night market a little bit?
Um, is that's different than the the pop up, the triangle pop up? I'm
Yeah,
getting them
yeah, it's
confused.
distinct. Yeah, it's the one at City Market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you hit
Yeah.
that up?
So yeah, so the night market, yeah, since they're doing it outdoors, they'll take over those beautiful brick-lined streets in City Market and have independent vendors and probably musicians. Usually at the night market, there's musicians and food vendors. So definitely really cool.
Yeah, and Triangle Pop-Up Market is the other one I'm thinking of, they just announced that they're going to have a holiday storefront. It's going to be a temporary, like through the end of December, right next to Raleigh Raw on Hargett Street. So really fun. They're all about local artisans and local entrepreneurs. So definitely check that out for some holiday shopping.
Yeah, and like Megan points out, Triangle Pop-Up has been doing pop-up as a transfer food hall. It seems like once a month outdoors in the parking lot, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked about gluten-free options, so definitely pour in those suggestions if you have them. I'm biased, but most things at local seafood can be made gluten-free. So our uh, our fish and chips batter is like rice flour and cornstarch and doesn't isn't gluten based. I'm pretty sure. So definitely some options there. And yeah, fit RDU is an option for sure. Oh, and thank you, Janice, for that gluten-free Instagram link. We'll have to follow that.
That's Susan. She's
Oh
a
yeah, yeah,
local
yeah, yeah.
yoga teacher.
Yeah, yeah, she's great. All right, so Raleigh Rose Garden, if you're closer to campus, and then Well-Fed Community Garden. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, that was started by the co-founder of Irregardless Cafe, and they are awesome, awesome, awesome. And then, yes, I didn't mention the State Farmers Market because I promised you that I wouldn't do the touristy Raleigh. But the State Farmers Market should not be missed. No doubt. We end up there a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. And yeah, the greenways in Raleigh, like Janice is mentioning, um, and y'all can yeah take the greenway through the farmers market on the Walnut Creek Greenway, I believe, and take that east to the Neuse River Greenway. If you haven't done that loop, I mean, you can put in 40 miles on it if you combine those. It's amazing. And yeah, if you want to extend your East Street foray over to Person Street, Janice is weighing in for Two Roosters ice cream. Definitely worth a stop
Ooh, I
for
haven't been
sure.
to the Optimist yet.
Yeah, that's
Alexis,
new.
have you
Yeah,
been?
yeah.
Yes, that's my new favorite place. I started following them on Instagram before COVID times, and they were like revving up to open, and then COVID happened. They didn't get to open, so now they are open. And I make that a like weekend thing that I do. Me and a friend go there and have. I'm a chai latte person, so that is where I've been getting my chais.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been
Yeah.
so much fun, y'all. We if you couldn't tell, we love talking about Raleigh, and we love talking about food and activity and fitness in Raleigh. So please, yeah, follow us on Instagram, send us a direct message, stop by Wellness and Recreation and see me. Like if you see me walking around there, I would love to give you a tour of the new building, talk more about Raleigh, and also we didn't hit up a lot of the outdoor destinations. And so, yeah, like Janice is weighing in about the Greenway, there's so much stuff that we didn't touch on. But yeah, I'll turn it over to Alexis if there's any final closing thoughts. And yeah, I think we really just want to thank you for having us. And this was such a good time. This was so cool.
Yay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank both of you for being here, for sharing your knowledge, and really, like you said, putting your thoughts about wellness and what it can be. And I love this work. This is the work that I am just so invested in. But I love that you all are bringing your own words to wellness. And I think that nonetheless, out of all of the talks that we have and the power lunch and other things that we do, it's all about shaping what wellness means for you and pulling in those key elements of, a well life for me means community. A well life for me means getting outdoors, etc. So that is going to be my thought to leave with you all as we're showing gratitude and appreciation for the things that are in our backyard. Continue to dig on the things that connect with you and that matter to you about wellness and what it means to be well. And I've just got a couple of updates that I will say as we are heading out of this call. So again, thank you to Brit and Nathan for joining us. We truly appreciate that. I'll be sending out their information. I was capturing as much as I could on a doc so I can compile all of this and send it out to you all following the call, as you know we always do. Another thing to keep in mind is that we do have a December power lunch that we'll be having next month. And this one is specifically on from traditions to transitions, thriving through change, because this year is definitely going to look a little bit different for the holidays. So we want to offer you all a space to talk about that, to process that, and to be in community with one another, because things are just, they're really weird. Things are just really, really weird. And the traditions that we've had won't be the same. I'll also be sending out our feedback form. So please do make sure you fill out that feedback. Let us know what things you love, what things you want to see more of, so we can make sure that as we're planning for next year, we have all the things that you all want. And then the last thing that I will say is that this is actually my last power lunch with you all. So some of you all may know on the call, but I have recently accepted a position outside of the university. So I will no longer be at Wellness and Recreation. And this has been a true joy, one of my favorite things that I've gotten to do during my time here. So I just want to say truly a deep appreciation and gratitude for you all hanging with me for the past couple of years doing this work. Yeah, I'm so sad to leave you all. Truly, it was a tough decision to make because I love the community that we built here. So I just want to give you all my best wishes and thank you all so much for letting me be part of your health and your well-being journey. And I hope you all continue to stay connected and engaged with the things that we have, because we got some 2020 was a little bit of a bumpy road, but 2021, we're taking it back up a notch. So we've got some really great things that are planned for you all in the 2021 year. So stay connected with us, and I'll certainly miss your community, your well wishes, your engagement. I wish you just the best of luck. Thank you all so much in the chat. I will get emotional. Y'all know I love a good a good cry moment, but I'm gonna hold it together right now. That's why I've got balloons in the background. My students did our little going away party last week, and I've still got balloons because I'm terrified of balloons, so they will stay there until they deflate. So yeah, well, thank you all so much for your well wishes. I truly appreciate that. And you all continue to take good care of yourself and prioritize your health and well-being as best you can during this time. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and pause and stop the recording and let you all go on your day and have a great rest of your week. And I will hopefully see you all around the Raleigh area. Awesome.
Thanks so much, y'all.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Y'all take care.
Thanks for everything, Alexis. I'm glad you're still in Raleigh.
Yes, I'll still be in Raleigh for a little bit. I might become a Durham girl. I'll be heading down to Durham County Public Health to be a health education specialist. So I might become a Bull City girl, but I've heard my supervisor Shannon said that's a tough title to come by. You got to earn that. I said, oh, okay, okay. But yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you all so much. And Kathy, I'll miss you. I'll miss so many of your all's faces on the call. So thank you so much for the community that we built over the past couple years.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you all a heart so we can head out on a heart. All right. Well, thanks so much, Brit and Nathan, and we appreciate you. And then we'll send everything out following, and you all have a great rest of your day. All right, Brit and Nathan, if you all wouldn't mind, if you could send your slides,
yeah, for sure.
that would be awesome. Oh wait, can you transfer ownership? Can you transfer host back to me, Nathan?
Yeah. So you can shut it down.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Stop share. Just 1 second. You've got the power.
Awesome. Now, there we go.